Hey everybody, ModelMan here, and I am soldering up the fourth sequencer board for the Jupiter 2. I just spent about maybe 10 or 20 minutes drilling all this out, and the best way to check your holes is to hold it against a light source like the window there, and make sure that everything looks good. And getting in real close, I didn't worry about the holes in the negative power coupling in the lower right corner there. The transistor holes, the three above that, over in this area right there. Why don't I get something that can point it out? So the three transistor holes right here, the middle one's a little off. That one could have been a little further right. That's been a problem one for me to solder. I've done 6 of these boards now, and I'm still at a 50-50 hit rate. For these rectangles, drill one side, drill another, and then bend the drill, or rather pass the drill through so it carves out the middle there. These numbers here, it doesn't matter where the holes went. However, because number 1 hole is so close to number 2, I started thinking maybe I should drill it further away, like in the number where there's better connection maybe, and then I figured, well, now I'll go straight to the top and so on. That didn't really matter at all, though. These 4 holes up here for, I forget what those are. But those are all set. The 8 holes here, down here for the 4060 is pretty good, But then 6 of these are pretty good, and then those 2 kind of go way off. I kind of screwed that up when I was drilling. But it shouldn't be too much of a problem. Same with the top row of the 555 here, is the 4th one went a little up above. Same trick over here, drill one side, drill the other, and then wiggle the drill bit through. Power, those are all good. And yeah, so this is pretty much ready to have the components inserted and soldered in. And it should be working. So I'm going to do a little prep work and get all the chips set up and cut some wire ahead of time and catch up with you in a few. Alright, so I've got everything laid out. I've got at least the power lines cut. I can always do the LED lines a little later. That's easy to solder in. I had been going to use chip sockets on these guys because I'm always concerned about burning out chips, and you know, if you got to replace them, how do you do that easily at least? And Elliot at Fedoratron.com highly recommends against chip sockets for electrical reasons, so I'm kind of torn about that overall. On one of the boards I was soldering here, I did in fact burn out the 555, and you can see to the right of the blue capacitor at the top and the bottom, those are actual burn marks going on, and you know, that shows through to the other side as well. This is what's left of the chip. As I tried to pry it loose, it initially cracked along this line here on the top, and then as I was trying to get it out of there, I wound up cracking it into several pieces. Also, in trying to get it out of there and get a replacement in there, I wound up destroying a lot of the traces going on. If the fire, yes, actual fire, did not actually damage the traces really badly, more than even I could tell. And in trying to repair all that, it just made it a lot worse, and at this point this thing is just a big mess that I don't even know if it would work, simply because the 4060 may have been affected. Probably not, but you never know. However, the point of that being is that had the chip burned out, I could have simply pulled it out of the socket, dropped a new one in, and been running along. Instead, I wound up destroying what was otherwise probably a pretty good board. So that's kind of disappointing. And the more I do these, I think I've soldered 6 of these boards now, and I'm still at a 50-50 hit rate. I've learned a lot, certainly. But at $36 a pop, that is definitely an expensive lesson to be learning overall. So with this board, I'm going to make sure I do it right from the start. As you saw, I went through all the holes, checked that, made sure everything's good. All the components are here. It's just going to be a matter of slotting them all into proper places. The IC boards do have to go on one side rather than the other, and that is this side. And because I'll be mounting this somewhere in the Jupiter 2, I'd like to keep as many of the components on one side or the other to help out with mounting. And as the chips have to go on the side, I'm going to try and put as many other things on this side as well. However, and fire up the soldering iron, get some water on the sponge, and get cooking. But not the bad kind of cooking. So pretty much need the magnifiers to do all this. So I'll be getting in a little close here. Trouble for me with doing a lot of this is that moving your head back and forth to change the focus distance, I really wind up going out of focus very often, and it causes a lot of eye strain. The nature of the plastic of the lens also causes a lot of distortion and depth of field issues, so that even the distance between the top of these pins and the bottom of the board requires me moving my head around just to see what's going on. So far this is going pretty well. A little slobber here and there, but it's all clean. Wear eye protection, those things fly around really badly. But to kind of help this along, I just wrapped all that up and put all 5 pieces in here, and I'm hoping I can do this at once without any aggravation. And I'm also going to need a wire for number 6 as a jumper. And that I will put on this side. Well, then again. And then because I'm not using all 10 of them, this goes to a different pin than it would otherwise. This is definitely one of my better soldering jobs, but definitely not any good by any sort of professional standard, that is certain.